Hi guys, this is Jana and welcome back to the Veggie Rabbit channel. I am so happy that you guys have been enjoying our holiday recipes. You guys made a few for Thanksgiving and I'm so happy you tagged the Veggie Rabbit. It was really great to see your recreations. We're going strong till the end of the year with some more holiday recipes. Christmas and New Year's are coming up, so I really hope that these next recipes will help you create some delicious and healthy meals for your family and friends. Today we're gonna be making savory puff pastry tarts. These are great recipes for your holiday parties or just whenever you feel like you need something comforting, delicious, creamy. We're gonna be doing two flavors. One's gonna be an heirloom tomato, red onion, and cashew cream cheese. It's very delicious. Guilt-free, but feels like you're eating something guilty. Super delicious and also easy to make. We're gonna be topping it off with rosemary to give it that extra flavor. The second one is gonna be mushroom, a little bit of thyme, dill, and potato tart. You can add the cream cheese to this. I'm gonna skip it and just get those flavors of the mushrooms. I'm gonna be using some king oyster mushrooms and some crimini mushrooms. You can use any variety of mushrooms in this recipe. But I can't wait to get started on this recipe and show you guys how simple it is to make these. I'm sure your friends and family are gonna love it at your next holiday party. For one of our savory tarts, we're gonna be making a cashew cream cheese. I love making this cashew cream cheese because it's just so creamy, super healthy, super simple to make. If you have one of those Ninja blenders, I highly recommend using that. That way you don't have to soak your cashews. But here we're gonna be using 2 cups of raw cashews, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, 1 small garlic clove, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and half a tablespoon of sea salt, the juice of 1 lemon, and we're also gonna be using some almond milk instead of water in this recipe. The almond milk really helps to make the cream cheese even creamier. And I'm using Malk milk. I really love Malk milk and I'm not sponsored by them, but I just really wanted to show you guys a great almond milk alternative that you can find at your local Whole Foods or Sprouts and maybe even your local grocery stores. I find mine at my local Whole Foods and I just absolutely love it because they only use 3 simple ingredients, the main ingredients and nothing else. Just almond milk, a little bit of salt and water. So the great thing about this is that I know I'm not getting any of those added preservatives, sugars, or extra unnatural flavors that I don't want in my almond milk. Here we're gonna be using about half a tablespoon of Malk milk. You can add a little bit more if you feel that it is too dry and your blender is not blending the cashews smoothly. Be careful not to add too much. Add about half a tablespoon at a time. All right guys, we have our cream cheese ready and we'll go ahead and start on the veggies for the tart. We'll do the potato and mushroom one first because it does take a little bit longer because you do have to cook the mushrooms and the potatoes just a little bit before you add them to your tart and bake them. First, we're gonna go ahead and wash our mushrooms and potatoes. I'm gonna leave the skin on my potatoes because I know they have a high nutritional value and I don't wanna lose that. So I'm gonna just scrub them and maybe cut off any bruises on the potatoes. Also, since we're washing our veggies, we'll go ahead and wash the dill and thyme. Don't skip the thyme on this recipe. I love thyme with mushrooms and potatoes. It just gives it that extra flavor. After we have all of our veggies and herbs washed, we'll go ahead and slice our mushrooms. I'm slicing them fairly thin here and adding them to a small pan to saute them. The great thing about mushrooms is that they're very healthy. They're very special as well because they have a lot of nutrients that you won't find in other vegetables or fruits. Of course, mushrooms aren't a vegetable, they're a fungi. So the benefits that you get from mushrooms, you can only get from mushrooms. After you've added them to the pan, go ahead and turn your stove onto medium-high. Add a little bit of sea salt and avocado oil if you prefer. Make sure to get your regular dose of mushrooms. It's a great antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and also antioxidant. Very high in vitamin D, so they're really gonna be only helpful to your body. I like to use a variety of mushrooms in my dishes, so make sure to get a variety of mushrooms, try them out, see which ones are your favorite. Once you've sliced your mushrooms and they're on the pan on medium-high cooking up, go ahead and start to slice your potatoes. We are gonna also cook the potatoes a little bit just to soften them up. Since we're slicing them fairly thin, you don't have to worry about cooking them fully. I'm gonna just go ahead and add them to the same pan my mushrooms are cooking on. While your mushrooms and potatoes are cooking, be sure to take the puff pastry out of your freezer, put them on a plate and let them thaw as you're making the veggies. You want to do this because the puff pastry tends to be fairly frozen and you just want to make it pliable enough to fold. So thaw them, not too much because they might get too soggy, just about 15 minutes or so until you're ready to use them. Once the mushrooms are done, go ahead and place your mushrooms in a little bowl to the side, and you can go ahead and add the sliced potatoes to the same pan with about half a cup to 3/4 cup of water and a little bit of sea salt. You want to make sure to cover the lid on medium-low just to soften them up a little bit. The water is going to really help to give them that moisture and cook them up. You want to cook your potatoes for only about 5 minutes. Make sure that they don't get overcooked because they will start to crumble and lose the thin round shapes that you've cut them into. If a few of them at the bottom stick, don't worry about it. Go ahead and just move it to the side off the heat after about 5 minutes. While the potatoes are cooking, I went ahead and washed my heirloom tomatoes and rosemary. I am going to go ahead and slice these thinly along with the red onions and put them aside as I start to assemble everything. So the heirloom tomato doesn't require any pre-cooking, but you are gonna go ahead and slice the veggies to have them prepared. Heirloom tomatoes are great for this season. They are super pretty. They have a variety of colors. The green ones kind of can scare people because they think that they're not ripe yet. But regardless of their color, they are very ripe and they're delicious, and they even have a sweeter taste than regular tomatoes that you might find at your local grocery store. Heirloom tomatoes also are great for recipes like this because they're just too special not to use. I'm gonna be using a variety of red, yellow, and green heirloom tomatoes. Once you have all of your vegetables prepared, the mushrooms are sauteed, the potatoes are softened, and your tomatoes and red onions are sliced, you're now ready to assemble your tarts. This is the most fun part. I think that you can assemble them however you wish. For these mushroom and potato tarts, we're gonna go ahead and first place the potato on the bottom, a little bit of dill on the potatoes, and then mushrooms on top, and a little bit of thyme after we've enclosed the puff pastry. The thyme will just give it that extra flavor. Feel free to do this in any order that you wish. Make sure to press down on the edges as you do this because you don't want the puff pastry to open up completely. It is going to puff up a little bit, and if it opens a little bit, that's okay, but just make sure to press down on all 4 corners, squeezing them so that you close it off completely. As you assemble your potato and mushroom tarts, go ahead and place them on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Be sure to leave a little bit of space, about an inch or two in between each one, so that they don't get stuck together. For the cream cheese and heirloom tomato tarts, we're gonna go a little bit of a different route on assembling these. We'll go ahead and spread the cream cheese on the bottom first. I like to add a little bit of a thick layer here. The flavor of this cream cheese just goes so great with the puff pastry. We'll go ahead and add the heirloom tomatoes in whatever color or combination. I don't want to add more than about 1.5 slices because you don't want too much tomato in this, because the water from the tomato might make your puff pastry too watery. So about 1 slice to 1.5 slices of your heirloom tomato should work perfectly. After you've added the tomato, go ahead and top it with a little bit of rosemary. You can add salt and pepper if you prefer, but I'm just gonna let the flavor of the cream cheese marinate our tomato. Go ahead and put these on a baking sheet as well, lined with parchment paper, leaving about 1.5 inches room. After you've assembled your tarts and your oven is preheated to 375, go ahead and place your baking sheet in the oven on the top row and cook it for about 20 to 25 minutes until the puff pastry has browned. Once the puff pastry has browned, you can go ahead and take them out of the oven and eat them when they're warm or cold. Either way, they're just super delicious. I know you're gonna love this recipe. Guys, our puff pastries are done and they're looking so beautiful. I really hope you get to recreate your own. The mushroom was just super good. The tomato was even better. I don't know, I really can't pick between the two. So I really hope you guys get to make both of them. Please tag us, like the video if you've enjoyed this recipe. Subscribe to our channel because we post every Saturday and we're going strong with holiday recipes till the end of the year. Much love, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.